Hello, it's Gabriel, and we are still in step 4 of the 5 steps to a successful Moti journey, and we'll have a quick conversation on how you will document the key findings of your Moti journey. And why now? Why do you need to document? For so many reasons that it will take me 5 minutes, but I'll try to make it as short as possible. First of all, this is a learning journey. And if you journal your journey as you go in real time on a daily basis, and knowing that you will need to write something down, you will be more likely to observe details that might have a significance in the future. You are giving yourself the opportunity to think and reflect on what is happening. You are gaining more personal insights that will allow you to take better decisions. And you will be also formulating your assumptions about what might happen next, not least what the Moti survey results will yield. So journaling enhances learning. So if you journal, do it for yourself. This is not about reporting to your boss or being accountable or complying to some kind of bureaucratic ritual. This is about you developing your observational skills. And you will see that you will learn much more by journaling than if you just see it as a chore and then you postpone it to when it's too late and you've forgotten everything. The other reason why it's important to document what you are doing and your key findings is that you want to share what you are learning with others, because others are embarking on a similar journey. There are thousands, literally thousands of people in the Red Cross, Red Crescent who realize that there is a motivational issue among volunteers and staff in national societies. So others like you are taking matters in their own hand and doing something about it, but they need your help. So if you document your learning journey, if you explain within your context what you've learned, then they can learn from you. They will avoid perhaps making the same mistakes you have. And we do learn from our mistakes. And in fact, they're not even mistakes. They're decisions that we take when we don't have the data, and then we realize that we didn't know something. That's fine. That's fine. Don't be concerned by documenting what went wrong and documenting how you fixed it. And if you do that, people will come to you for advice, and you can help others in their journey. So this is why we attach a lot of importance to case studies. A case study is actually a quite detailed account of what has happened in a particular situation. You also want to document because you are showing your team and your organization that you are committed to the results and to the plan of action. So if your plan of action is written down, then it is much more likely to be followed through. You might also need resources or funds or more people in your work. By documenting your survey results and the insights that have emerged thanks to your work in the team discussions and the conversations, you are compiling the evidence for future decisions and action. You are compiling the evidence to be trusted with more resources. Now, really, if it's written down, you're more likely to do it. And so hold yourself and your team accountable to the decisions that were taken. And be accountable for the implementation of the plan of action. By demonstrating in writing that you're accountable to that plan of action, you will be more trusted, and you are more likely to be followed by the members of the team who also have committed. You don't want them to use you as an excuse for not doing anything. So what is it that we want to document? Ideally, everything. Because when we talk about key findings, it's not just the key findings in the Moti survey or the key points that emerged during the conversation around these results. What we are documenting is the journey itself, and that, I think, is probably what's a little different from what we're used to doing in the Red Crescent. We write reports that we hope might be read by a supervisor or by a senior leader. And so we paint a very rosy picture of everything we've achieved, and we sort of gloss over things that haven't worked. What we want here is the exact opposite. So the first type of document that you might want to consider is the journal of the journey itself, which would start with the design and the purpose and the objectives of your journey, why you actually embarked on the journey. And then you would describe the survey, how you managed the survey, the response rate, the difficulty you had in getting a high response rate, the number of letters you had to send, to document that it was not easy, that you actually went out of your way to get a high response rate, and that there's one letter, one reminder that worked particularly well. Well, let others know about that letter so that they can use it too. Obviously, you want to journal your interpretation of the survey results. So in step 3, we analyze the results. Well, write that analysis down and paste the different graphs on your document, comment them, make assumptions about what that might mean, write these assumptions down in a very clear way so that you can actually use these statements, these assumptions, to prepare the conversations around the Moti results with the team. And then you will be listening and taking notes during the team discussions. Take notes. Journal what you hear. Journal your own reactions and your own thoughts. First of all, it will sort of keep you quiet during the conversation itself. You'll be busy writing everything that you think about what was just said rather than saying it out loud. So that already, that's probably a good thing. But on top of that, you want to reflect at a later date on what you're learning in this instant. And by writing things down, you will remember them. If you just listen, you might get distracted, and you know what? 3 days later, it will have been forgotten, and the person who was talking will realize that you were not listening because it's already forgotten. So journal, take notes, journal the meetings. Finally, the document would not be complete if it does not end with the plan of action. The whole point of the learning journey was to design a plan of action to improve the things that were revealed by the Moti exercise. So document the plan of action, and for each element of the plan, relate it to a key finding. So that way you're demonstrating that the plan is evidence-based. It's driven by the data that you collected with the survey and with the team discussions. So that's one way of doing it. On a daily basis, write down, journal what you've learned. Now, you can take the perspective of your team, and maybe they will relate more to a document that describes what they have experienced. So here you would be journaling the conversation, a little like you would document a workshop. So during the conversation with your team, you will discuss the survey and the survey management, the survey outcomes, i.e. the response rate, the difficulties that people had in answering the survey or some survey questions. You will be also discussing the results themselves and how they can be analyzed in terms of maybe strengths and weaknesses or things that need to be improved. You will be getting insights during the team discussions about people's perspective on the different issues that were analyzed with the survey results. And then as a team, you'll be discussing what you can do about all this and the type of actions that we all want to take, that we all want to commit to in the plan of action. So you're journaling basically the workshop, the conversations themselves. Now, really the most important thing in all this is the plan. It's what will you be doing with your team with all these findings. So you can really focus, and that's a third option, on detailing the plan itself. And there you start with the key findings. This is what we found. This is what we've discussed. We need to build more trust into the team. We need to be able to work more autonomously. We want more recognition for the way our work is described by senior leadership. Whatever the key findings are, for each key finding, you want a plan on how you can address whatever issue these key findings are revealing. And that goes into the plan of action. But then you wouldn't stop here. What you would do is you would describe in more detail the activities that you are planning to implement, the roles and responsibilities, so who implements what and when, how will you be monitoring that these activities are not only implemented but are having the expected results. And then why not, because you can, thanks to Moti, why not already have targets? So if shared values is at 3.8 and as a team you want to improve the level of trust in among yourselves, then okay, let's do some trust building activities in the next 3 months. Let's do a new Moti survey, and let's see if we can bring it up from 3.8 to say 4.5. So to summarize, you have different types of ways of documenting. You can document everything that happened, including the problems and the changes from your perspective and the perspective of the core team. And that would be a detailed case study that we would like to read and help you with. You can actually provide a detailed account of the conversation the team had, and not really worrying about what your purpose was, but worrying more about the insights that were gained during the conversation with the team and what you decide to do with it. Or you can just go straight into the goal, which is how will we implement this plan? And so you start with the key findings, which are the evidence that supports the plan. So how to document? Here I'm just going to give you some very practical tips. First of all, don't hesitate to look at examples of case studies and documentation of Moti journeys on our online Moti library of case studies and workshop reports. And I think what's important is that you find a personal interest in journaling. If you see this as a chore, where you just have to report to your superiors on what you've actually done, as a kind of command and control compliance mechanism, then forget it. It's not going to be of any use, and you probably won't even be honest. So make this part of your personal journey, of your professional development, and so be the main author. Take responsibility for what's going to be in this report, in this document. Be its chief editor if you rightly want to involve others in the write-up. You are leading the Moti journey, so you are the author of its main artifact. Put the document online and when it's ready, share it with the core group and then the teams. When you're happy with it, when it's good enough, certainly not when it's perfect, because if it's perfect, that means you won't accept changes. But when it's good enough for others to be compelled to add, and it's good enough for them to read it and learn things and appreciate your effort. Others should add to the document. It's also their learning journey, especially if you're following the scenario 2 and scenario 3. You really want people to take ownership of the whole process. You want them to commit to the plan, so this means that the more they've actually contributed to the document, the more they feel it's theirs, the more likely they will be to sustain the effort. Now, incorporate people's inputs when and only when they are appropriate and factually correct. This document is about evidence and data. It's about facts. It's not an opinion piece. So some people really want to contribute, but if their contribution does not meet your standards, then put it as a footnote, but don't give it too much importance to the point where it might have your document lose credibility. So footnotes are often for that. They should also include the reference. So anyway, what you want is to include dissenting opinions when they are valuable, but not supported by evidence. Again, only one online document, so everyone can see the changes. Don't waste time with multiple versions that are being transferred and commented on by email. And also make this process as transparent as possible. So again, distinguish facts. Facts are the survey results. Facts are what people have said during a meeting. And distinguish those facts from a personal opinion, an idea that somebody might come up with after the fact. Last but not least, ask Moti coaches, including myself, for editorial assistance and peer review. First of all, for us, it's important to peer review because we will learn as we peer review. And we do want your document to be included in our library of online resources. You would be doing everyone a favor by contributing what you have learned to the worldwide Moti adventure. So this concludes this very practical conversation about documenting. Most importantly, it should feel comfortable for you. Don't worry about the language and your style. That can always be edited afterwards. But be honest. We learn from our errors and our mistakes, and you want to share your mistakes with others. So please be honest. The next video will be about how we commit to the plan of action, a plan of action that you will have documented in the previous mini step. See you then.